Welcome to the Lightworker Podcast. I am your host, Natalie Ubl Grant. I am a lightworker, a meditation facilitator, Reiki master, and a health and wellness enthusiast who thrives on helping people. Connection is my superpower, and I just love bringing people to a space where transformation can occur. Are you looking for information on being a lightworker? Are you a lightworker and just love collecting knowledge from other lightworkers? Then this space is made especially for you. I hope you enjoy today's episode.
Yeah.
But I made a friend at summer camp who is still my best friend now, and she talks to trees. And there was a moment where we went and talked to trees, and I just had the best day ever. It was another piece of the puzzle she put back in. And I came home, and he honestly, I don't think he was consciously aware of this, but if I got any strength at all, he would need to suck it away. He would need to. So I started becoming aware of that subconsciously. So I would try and not ever be happy, because if I was unhappy, then he would be looking after me and so kind. But if I was happy or joyful, it would cause so many troubles.
So you saw the pattern.
I don't know that I consciously saw the pattern, but I knew, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I started acting in accordance with. This day, I had one of the best days of my life, honestly. In the midst of my rock bottom, I just found a soulmate, and we just drifted into the trees. And then she was like, "Oh, can you hear them say this?" And I was like, "Yes." What do you mean? I have never told anyone I could talk to trees, because I just thought that was so weird. But she's talking to them. It's not talking like a conversation. It's I don't know how to explain it. You feel them talking to you. And anyway,
it's like what I would imagine telepathy is supposed to be like.
It's
like the answer's just there.
Exactly that. And you start to become really aware of them. Oh my gosh, for anyone listening, please do this trick, because it is just the funnest thing ever. So you go up to a tree and you stand about 10 centimeters away from it, and you say, "If you can hear me, touch my nose." And then wait. Wind will come out of nowhere and that tree will touch your nose. And please just message me when that happens, because I'm going to be so excited for you. I do it every day, and then I've just showed my son how to do it. And he's like, "Isn't it fun when the trees can hear us?" And I'm like, "Yeah, they can always." Because he was scared of a sound in the trees. And I said to him, "Oh, the forest will always look after you. Let me show you something." And then I showed him that. And now his sandpit's kind of the borders on the forest, and he just will play there now so happily, because it's and just love being a mum, just getting to be here's a shortcut that I learned really late. you know?
Yeah, exactly.
I haven't taught him the alphabet. I haven't taught him how to count. I have just no interest until he asks me. Because why would a 3-year-old need to know those things? But I am going to show him that he can talk to the trees, and that, exactly, kindness ripples out and you're safe, energy. But so this day he was horrible to me.
Yeah, okay.
He'd locked me in rooms before, but it lasted days. And I had told this girl, I was I'm really scared of what's going to happen when I get home, because I didn't tell him where I was. And she was God, "Why do you need to, what the fuck?" But she's so not judgmental, but she just, yeah. And then he didn't like her. And so I didn't see her again until way later. One day she was saw that I was really broken. She was "Do you want to quickly go to the trees?" And I just ended up telling her a little bit. And she, so good again, didn't really say you should leave him or anything, but she just held space for me to start realizing that this wasn't normal. And then she was such a good friend, and I hadn't had a good friend like this, honestly, I think ever in my life. She was my first friend who, oh my God, I just love her so much. Teague, she's just the best. And she just lit a light in me, and then that light has never gone out again. And it didn't go out. It was days of torture from him, days. but the light just did not go out. And my boss at the time, I think, also had suspicions about what was happening. And he gave me like a promotion temporarily where I ran the whole camp with this guy. And that gave me so much confidence in myself. And he used that against me. He was like, they're just using you, and like, you're basically a slave, and, you know, they're just like, there's nothing special about you. Don't think that you're special. They're using you, like all of these things. But I was having such an amazing time and realizing like I am capable, even though someone tells me constantly that I'm not. It's like a lot of things. I was getting gifted a lot to keep me going. And then on the night before my sister's leaving for my sister's wedding, he was so bad. We were at a group dinner, and everyone went up to order, and he was like, when you were in the toilets, everyone was talking about you behind your back. They hate you. They think it's so gross. You're already here because you're with me, and like everyone hates you. So just know, when you're sitting here and people are smiling at you, it's fake. You're disgusting. And I went to the toilet, and he followed in, and he was like, everyone hates you. And it was just, I just sat there and just was like, I can't do this anymore. I went to bed that night, and something in me was like, I'm done. I'm done. He pushed it too far. And when we woke up in the morning, he could sense that.
Yeah.
He was suddenly like so nice. He was like, I'll carry your bags to the airport. I was like, I have no interest in you coming to the airport. And he started getting really weird, and I was like, I'm just gonna fake this. So I was like, yeah, come to the airport. He walked me through the gate. I just waved. He was sobbing, crying. And I think he just like knew. And I got on the plane, and I was like, I don't really know what I'm going to do. I was staying with my friend's house, and then one of her friends took us rock climbing, and I had the best day ever. And then he called, and I went from feeling so happy to so anxious, and I just paid attention to that feeling. And then I talked to him, and he was like, you're wasting our money on hanging out with, he was just awful. And I just paid attention. I wasn't certain that I would leave. I definitely didn't think I'd leave. I married this guy, so it felt very complicated to leave him, but I just was paying attention.
Yeah.
Went to a party, started talking to this girl, and she said, you might not be ready to hear this, but I need to tell you that you are in an emotionally abusive marriage, and it's not going to stop, and you don't deserve that. No matter what you think you deserve, no matter what you're like in your head tells you deserve, you do not deserve that. And I really took that on. I never would have said I was in an abusive marriage. I would have never, would that have clicked to me at all, because the whole time I thought I deserved this. So I'm thinking it's me. He's convincing me it's me too, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like this such a trip out to be in this situation where like you lose touch with reality, because someone is in your head, knows all your weaknesses, and like is telling you people are fake. And he pushed away like me from my family and my friends. Like I wasn't allowed to have any guy friends. I was friends with all my exes, which I thought was normal, because just because you break up doesn't mean you have to stop liking that person as a person. Like, obviously I liked them, that's why. But I had to stop talking to them all, and it was just so stressful. Like if a guy would message me, I would pretty much have a panic attack, because if he saw it, and there were just a lot of rules. There were so many rules, and I'm not great with rules. Like I'm a very spontaneous, in the moment person, and having
that's what you found after your experiments with travel, and you found that your genius zone is living in the moment.
Yeah, and just, you know, like, and so I would break all these like rules all the time, because I would tell someone a story about something he did, which I wasn't allowed to do, but I didn't realize, because it wasn't like a bad story about him, or I just like I just would stop talking, because I was like, whoa, it's just too scary.
Yeah.
Too much is at stake. And I was on a train from this party in the morning, and he called, and I broke up with him on this. I was like, I'm not coming back. I'm never going to see you again. This is done. Like, I will not. you have treated me so poorly and I didn't notice. And I let you. And I believed you, but I don't believe you anymore, and I'm done. And
How did that feel?
I was sobbing. It was so weird. I was on a train and I was like, this is like, in inverted commas, wrong. But I was like, I am not doing this for a second longer. I'm not putting this off for an appropriate place. I'm not like, this ends right now. This is done. But he got 1,000 times worse. Like, if I thought he was bad before, it was like an unleashing. He was like, don't forget, I know where your little brother goes to school, and like would send me like addresses. He hacked all my accounts. And then he was like stalking me on my iCloud, so he knew where I was. And then he turned up from Mexico to the city I was in Australia. And I was so scared. And I said to my beautiful housemate, I was like, I don't think I should live here. Like, I'm putting you in danger. I'm so scared. Like, I don't want to bring this on anyone. And she was amazing. And she was like, you are staying here. Like, I'm not letting some creepazoid, like, where else are you going to go? Of course. Like, but I wouldn't go out at nighttime. I was like so scared. Whenever I saw shadows on my window, I would be so scared. And it was a cosmic, complete and utter reset, because the bag that I had been traveling with, all my stuff that I'd traveled with for years, the airport lost it. Gone.
Of course they did.
He hacked all my accounts, so I had to get a new phone, and I couldn't get into my old iCloud because it was like hacked, and so I had to start it anew. So I have no photos from before that time. So no baggage, no photos, and it was like, bing, life reset. And I took it seriously. I was like, just sat, and I was like, okay, like, I did this. I do not blame anyone for this. I do not blame him. I do not do blame anymore. I am taking responsibility for absolutely everything that happened, because I can see all the ways that I let this happen. I can see all the micro lessons that I received before this. And I am not that person anymore. I take full responsibility, and I was like, I get up early. I keep my room clean. I threw myself into personal development, which I had always loved. Like, if I was to think back about one passion that has stayed with me my whole life, it was personal development books. Like, I remember mum asking, like, why are you reading self-help books when you're like 12? And I was just so interested in it, just really, really interested in it.
Yeah.
And I had always said I wanted to do Reiki. And he had said, I will not be married to someone that does Reiki. Like, I thought you actually had some brain cells, but I was wrong. Like, you are a fucking idiot. Like,
wow.
And so the first thing I did, and I booked a Reiki course, of course. And I was like, I am doing this. And then
I did the inner rebel.
Yeah, I was like, this is so exciting. I can finally do it. Found a Reiki course on my birthday, of course. So it was the first birthday I didn't spend drinking in I don't even know how long, and I did Reiki instead, and it was
mind-blowing.
More than mind-blowing. I just don't even have words. It was all guys, just me. And the Reiki teacher said, so many times, she's like, this is so weird. This is never, and she'd been doing Reiki for like 20 years or something, and she was like, this has never happened. And then I explained what had happened to me, and she was like, oh, okay, of course, like, I understand, you're just getting shown that not all guys are like
not
that.
all men are evil.
Yeah, which I am so grateful. I never thought that for a second. Like,
no,
I never, in the past, I've been like, guys suck, or whatever it is, but this was like my radical responsibility era. This was like, I am somehow causing all of this in my life because I'm the common denominator. I'm magnetizing this to me because it keeps happening to me. Like, it's me. Yeah. I'm the thing that all of this has in common. And that doesn't mean you deserve it.
No, God, no.
It doesn't mean you deserve it. It just means that you have the power to stop that happening. Like, I can't even explain it.
Change it. I get exactly what you're trying to say. It's like the way we've been taught to relate in this reality is the problem, because everything is built on judging and criticizing in the language that we've been taught. And no one knows how to connect right from the start on purpose to the soul that lives in here. To figure out that the reason that whatever's going on around or inside is because the soul is trying to get a message through and you're not listening.
And
so, okay, she still doesn't get it, that the toxicity inside of her head is so evil. So let's just give her some evil here so she can start. It's a very warped way to look at it, really, when you think about it, because of the way we've been taught. It is very backwards when you realize the solution is actually, I got to get into the kind self-talk. I've got to actually discern those thoughts. Are they my ancestors? Are they even mine? Did I pick it up from the place that I was staying? Or am I actually agreeing to a reality I want? Is it even true what I'm hearing? It starts with the thoughts. It starts there. And figuring out what is influencing you.
And it's so fun once you start doing, like, I used to think people were always on their phones. I used to think people were mean, like people were mean and they were judging you and all these things. And I live in a reality where, like, literally I don't see people on their phones. They're all looking up and smiling at me. I don't know what everyone's talking about. Like,
Neither.
I don't see it. My neighbors are so nice. They have so much time for me. Like, everywhere I work, everyone is smiling and being so kind to each other. Like, I live in a very kind universe where everyone is lovely. You are safe. It is
so
safe.
What did you change? Because so you understand that the universe was trying to get you to look at something that's inside of you. So what did you start doing differently that was then able to create that change?
I used to always have a messy room, just like everything was messy. I never cleaned up after myself. From that moment, I started always cleaning. My clothes are always folded. My environment is always neat. I swore myself off guys for a year because I was a chronic dater, and I started meditating. That changed my life because that's when you really realize that they're not your thoughts.
Yeah.
When you're like,
actually,
I'm the person listening to my thoughts. And for anyone who wants to start meditating, I started with 2 minutes a day for a month.
Yeah.
And that is what changed my life. So it's not, you don't have to start living up Machu Picchu, being, it's like a very small habit. I used the One Giant Mind app. I thought it was so good because it like explained what your thoughts were, and it reminded me of my hypnotherapist experience. So like it was like another piece of the puzzle that really journaling. I have always loved writing, but I started before I woke up in the morning. Not before I wake up. The first thing I did when I woke up was write 4 pages of stream of consciousness. And then that cleared up my mind so much because I have the tendency to slip back into my old habits when I first wake up, which is like dread, doom, fear, because all of those things I thought kept me safe, because if I can predict the bad thing that's going to happen, I can be ready for it and then I can respond appropriately. But what that's actually doing is just putting my body in a fear state perpetually.
Programming you again to live the same day you did yesterday.
Exactly. But when you write it all down, there's no worries. You've like written it on paper and it's gone. And that really helped me. And going for a walk in the morning, because I would walk around and there'd be like bees and butterflies and people smiling and I'd listen to music and I was like, oh my gosh, life is so good. Like, essentially, it was me deciding how my day was going to go and understanding how I habitually would let it go if I didn't like take control of the reins. I just took control of my life. I was like, okay, this is what we're doing. And then Reiki blew my mind, but I found it really stressful because the Reiki teacher that I went through, there was like so many rules. Like you had to take all of your jewelry off and you couldn't do it. There was just a lot of rules, and that made me very hesitant to do it as much as I do it now, which is literally I don't know how to not. I've become just
I don't know how to not either.
I'm clearing the day the night before.
Yes.
And then since I've started doing that, my day is perfect. Like, what's an entity? I don't like, you know.
You just get to the point where you do, and that's when you know you're beyond those different levels, right? That you don't, it's not in your experience anymore because you're not vibrating at that frequency. So,
and
but you have to remember that other people, not there yet.
Yeah. And it's not even like I think I'm on a level above you. It's just a different
No.
Like,
it's just like a different bubble.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just like playing a different video game. I don't know what's playing in yours.
That's a great way to describe it. Different video game.
I can hand you my controller and tell you the shortcuts, but it might not work in your game because you might be playing Mario Kart and I'm playing Crash Bandicoot. I don't know.
Exactly.
But that's what it feels like. I've started to believe like we don't even come from the same planet. And I don't mean that as in like they're from another planet. I just mean like, no, you're literally from another planet and that's fine.
Okay.
I want to learn about your planet more than I want to tell you about my planet. And I can't necessarily help you because if we're not from the same planet, my shortcuts aren't going to help you get to where you are. But
exactly,
I just mainly want to help people be confident. Like that's anything I do is just like, I just want you to be confident to be yourself, like be confident to be from that planet. Because for me, it all changed when I became confident because then my thoughts about myself changed. And when the thoughts about yourself.
When did that happen? When did you get confidence in yourself?
I think it started then. Because
when you made the phone call, went against his wishes and learned some.
And it all went to like my life blew up essentially, and I was fine with it. Like I was just like, this is just what has to happen. I know it's so much easier to get back together with him, but that's not happening. That's just not happening. And then life-changing moment, I enrolled in an outdoor recreation course to become an outdoor leader.
Yeah.
Perfect timing. That pushed me.
And that was here on the Sunny Coast, wasn't it?
Yeah, and that's what made me move to the Sunny Coast. That pushed me so far out of my comfort zone. Like, oh my gosh. And that's when I reconnected with nature. And then once I got a job, I was out of reception in a tent for a week. I would get back, clean my stuff on the weekend, and I was in a tent again. I would come back and there'd be a different prime minister. I'm like, oh, like, you know, like it was just like I lived on another place. And that was when I really stopped caring about looks because I lived in a van or a tent and I didn't look at myself. I didn't remember looks were a thing. I'm leading these people into the middle of nowhere where there's no reception and I'm their leader. And it has nothing to do with looks. And I realized like I could have something in my teeth that doesn't matter. It's the same thing is happening. Like looks have nothing to do with it. But then ironically, that was when I started loving what I look like. And then when I started loving what I look like, I like feel beautiful. And you don't turn into being beautiful. You just like decide that you are. It's just a decision because you're the only one living in your own head. So if I'm walking past you and you think you're beautiful, you think you're ugly, I don't know. You're the only one that has to live with it being you, you know? So it's like, I don't know. But I just decided that I was beautiful. And then it was so fun because now I'm like a person. It was just a decision that like I made. But then Reiki was really eye-opening for me. But mostly when I found you. So I did Reiki 2 and it was literally terrible. Like I won't mention any names, but it was so bad. And then I did a lot more research and then I found you. And then that was when a big piece of the puzzle, because you're never teaching us rules and you're never teaching us this is the way. You're always like, what's your way? And that was the first time I felt like someone had really asked me, well, what do you think? Or who do you want to be? Or, you know, and
question, isn't it?
Yeah, and I thought I had no intuition. I thought I had no connection with my intuition because I couldn't hear or see or whatever. But you couldn't either.
No.
And then it was just such a huge awakening for me because I was like, oh, someone's asking me how I think. And then that was when I really had to start learning how to receive answers and not think your way to answers, which has been like a big.
There's a difference to that, isn't there?
Yeah, and I
It's a bit of time to figure out, is that a thought or is that actually the stream of consciousness?
And you can't hear your guides or whoever's trying to give you a message when you're thinking it. You can't think it. Right. And I can't make any decisions through thinking, which is still autopilot. I go to thinking, I will like get a headache. And then I'm like, oh, that's right. I cannot think my way to the answer. I must relax. And so that was massive.
Back to meditating.
Yeah. And then I became a mum. And then that was...
Yeah, tell us about that.
I free birthed at home with just Bear, my husband there. So it was, this is the truth for any mom, but there's me before I gave birth and then there's me after I gave birth. But for me, that was no more people pleasing. That all fell away. Everything that I thought I was left, and I stood in my power so much in that moment. So I was just a different person, but I got such bad postpartum anxiety, and I didn't tell anyone. I didn't tell anyone about it, and I was like, oh my God, I'm back here. You know, I'm back to this place that I thought I had left. But the most epic thing about that is that you're never back to where you were, firstly. No. And I just had to...
They use that as a way to show you, remember this feeling, you've been here before.
Yeah, for me it was like, you still have a lot of fear. Like you didn't have anything to fear, but now you do. Because for me, it is one thing to trust you're okay when it's just you. But when you have something you care about more than you could ever comprehend caring about anything ever, it feels way more of a risk.
Yes,
you
it does.
Are like, the risk feels so much bigger. So hi.
There
Did you? So that was a big journey, but then I feel like now I'm where I've always wanted to be. Like, I thought I was there before, but I absolutely wasn't there before. But now
it's like the universe just giving you a little, you've up-leveled, you've got to this part of the video game, and now here you've got something you love more than your own life, which then triggers all your fears again, but at a different level.
And all those medical fears, because making the decision to be autonomous over my own body, it is not that I have anything against the medical system. I'm very, very grateful for it. I think we are very lucky to have it. For me, it is emergency medicine. It is a different thing. And so that was scary for me to not take him to a doctor to say, he's fine. That's what I wanted. I just wanted someone to look at him and say, he's fine. And the awful thing about deciding to birth in the way that I did is there's so much dogma and judgment about it that you really can't just go and see a practitioner who's not going to judge you. Well, I didn't find one, you know? Yeah. And we've had to, touch wood, been so lucky. We've had to go once and they were really great. But I'm just like, oh, we're just traveling here, you know, like, I'm so grateful for it. Like I said, I'm so grateful for it, but I decided to step out of it, and stepping away from it. Like, my mum was a nurse, like I said, very fear-based. Both sides of my ancestors are doctors and nurses. So it is so ingrained into me that, but I decide, like, I don't believe any of it. Like, I've just decided that I get younger every year. You know, I've just decided that, because why not?
Yeah.
You know, it's just like being that little girl in bed every night saying, I hope I wake up sick tomorrow. But now I'm like, I just get healthier. I just get stronger. I'm going to put all my energy into that, because why not?
Why not?
Why not? Like, I don't see why I don't get to choose. Like, I just surround myself with evidence that proves what I say as well.
Yeah.
And so, you know, when I hear people complaining about aging, I just like zone it out. I'm just like, that's, if you want that to be true for you, that's fine. That's not true for me. And I think what people don't realize is they don't want that to be true for them, but they don't remember they have the choice to choose differently.
Yes.
You know, we're fed a lot of stuff.
I don't know where the choice gets made. That's the thing. They don't, a lot of people will argue that they don't have a choice, which I have found fascinating when you're working with people when they're at that stage. That well, it's not a choice. It just is what it is. And it's, well, okay. Because it hasn't been my experience. I can pinpoint where the decision was made. If I sit with myself and I'm honest with myself,
without judgment,
the agreements that I've made, I can pinpoint exactly where the agreement was made.
Oh, me too. And I can think something and it manifests in my life instantly. And I'm like, oh, I remember when I did that. You know, and usually thank you for reminding me how powerful I am, and thank you for that, because it is never as bad in real life as it is in your head. Like, I'm sure there are some things that are worse. I'm not saying that, but majority of the time, for little things, the thought of it is so much worse. And what we don't realize is that when we think it, our body is going through it. So you just have to live through it so many times. And that's the same thing with judgment. Our brain judges because that is something that we have had to do since we were hunter-gatherers. We had to make quick judgment, safe, unsafe, fit in, don't fit in, like all of these things. Like, it's your brain doing it, but you don't have to engage in it. You can't transcend judgment. Like, that's like saying, I'm just not going to be human anymore. But you can transcend believing it, you know, falling into it. Yeah, and usually we judge, and then we judge ourselves for judging.
Yes.
But it's like, judge and be like, oh yeah, my brain's an ancient machine. The end. You know, like you
and we don't realize we are collectively connected. So consciousness, although we're having an individual experience, consciousness is connected. And so, you know, to a certain degree, sometimes it feels like you're a pawn in a bigger game. Sometimes you show up a particular way and later you go, why did I show up like that? And then, then 3 weeks later, you watch a collective shift happen in your community and you see where you were a piece of that puzzle.
And yeah, I sometimes think that. I'm like, well, maybe you're not always supposed to be the hero. Like, maybe you needed to say something exactly that way to upset them for them to like find that part of themselves, or and just let it be.
And can you just stay in your own energy long enough to allow them to learn whatever they want to learn, and you to have whatever your lesson that you need to learn, and let's all have some fun while we're here.
Yeah, and just let it be.
So this is a big journey that you've been on. So now, out the other side, your little man is now 3.5. I can't believe that.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
And your perspective is completely different.
Yeah, and I'm so grateful that I waited till I was older to have children. Because I feel younger, firstly. Yeah. I feel so much younger, but I can really sit in that, like, I have a live-in guru right now. Like, I literally have a live-in opportunity for spiritual expansion, and it's so fun. You know, I could have said before, like, emotions don't need fixing, but then you have a child and you're their mum and you think, I need to stop him crying. And then you have to remind yourself, like, emotions don't need fixing. And, you know, you think you've passed your triggers, have a baby.
Yeah, exactly.
Get in a relationship and then have a baby. And then you come and tell me that, you know, and it's just like all of those people who've reached enlightenment on a hill. I'm like, yeah, but you didn't have kids, so I don't buy it. you know,
Yeah, it's like, are you embodied in what you know in your brain? Have a kid. That will force you to embody this stuff. That will force you to sit there, because one of the things that, particularly as a mum, you become super protective. So your core need is safety and the safety of your child, you know? And so you'll do anything to make sure no one's allowed to hurt your kid. They can't even look at them sideways, right?
Oh my
Without
God,
you.
I've had way too many experiences with that. Yes.
So once you are in that space, I truly believe that is one of the biggest lessons that a human is here to learn, how to actually embody unconditional love. And so for women that have had the opportunity to be mums, you get to feel what that's like, to really connect to something. That kid could do anything, you're still going to love it.
Yeah, what is, everyone says nothing's perfect, no one's perfect. It's taught me that everything's perfect and everyone is perfect, actually.
Yeah.
Not the opposite. Like, everything is how it should be. That's why it is. Like, do we honestly think we know better than God or the universe or source or whatever it is that of how that thing should be? Like, do we honestly, if you think about that, do you think you do? Of course not. Everything's perfect. Everything.
Well, and seeing your journey you've been on, right, has been reinforcing that. Stop fighting what is.
And be here now. Because another time I had a trip with DMT, and it was a horrible trip. And I remember I was lying in the fetal position in my brain, and all of these voices were just saying, you're not even in your life. You're not even here. You live your life in your head. Like, you're not even there. You're always thinking about it. Even now, you can't enjoy this trip because you're just thinking about it. And like, I remember it so clearly because I came out of it. But then this voice just went, breathe. And I took a breath and it was all fine. But I still don't think I fully embodied the lessons that gave me. I still will tend to be up here when I could just be in my body. Like, there's actually nothing to think about. Yeah.
And so do you feel that you're at the point now where you actually get excited when you do get up in your head and think, oh, I'm about to learn something new here? Are you at that stage yet?
No, I'm still at the stage of like, woman, what are you doing? Like, can we just not? But I now just use it. I'm like, okay, I have a brain that thinks a lot. Like, I'm going to give it a project. Like, I really like creating content or writing. Like, I've just started writing and I love writing. So I'm like, I'm like, okay, go do this. Like, and also gratitude. Like, I'm like, if you need to think about a moment, think how grateful you are to be here. Like, take mental snapshots. Like, I've just learned I can't turn it off, and that's fine. Trying to turn it off is the problem, not the fact that it's going. It's having the awareness to just like let it just like be like a TV in the background, like whatever. I don't have to engage with it. I don't have to believe it. It's not mine. And I have had moments now where it's like pure bliss. Like, I am completely in the moment and it is amazing. And I just, whenever it's ticking away, I'm just silently monitoring what it is. And then I'm like, okay, you still have that weirdly self-deprecating thought or whatever. Like, let's shift that. Or,
like, even just noticing that you've connected to the witness and you've actually had enough lived experience that it isn't safe to believe every thought that's in your head. It's safer to question it. It's safer to become the observer of it. It's safer to not make a decision unless you're absolutely certain that offer that's coming in is actually going to be serving life and being helpful for you.
And like, you don't have to make sense to anyone.
No.
You don't have to make sense to anyone. Like, you don't owe anyone anything. but also no one owes you anything.
That's
So
right.
just live your life and nothing's under control. No matter how much you want to feel safe because it's under control, nothing is under control. Literally tomorrow we could all get abducted by aliens or like you just don't know. Like and that makes me feel safe, weirdly. I know it's supposed to make me feel unsafe, but I'm just like, you don't know. And the more that you cling to knowing, the more upset you get because it doesn't go your way. Whereas when you're just like, oh, and seeing everything as a lesson is such a blessing. It's such a blessing. But what I've recently had to teach myself is like, I'm not a constant self-improvement project. It is okay to
You don't need to be fixed.
No,
nothing wrong with you.
It's okay to just be, you know? Like, I think there's a certain level of awareness where you become unaware again because you're so obsessed with trying to make sure every thought is clean and that you meditate and you eat 20 grams of protein and you know that you've gone too far.
You're about at that point where you're just going to go poof into the void.
It's like cause burnout with your
everything has to give. Yeah.
Like burnout is just your own brain.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like the pressure from yourself that you put on yourself. Like, yeah. So that's my journey right now is like, we're good. You know, like just because you have the same self-deprecating thoughts that you had back then doesn't mean you haven't moved.
Yeah. So I've got a really cool little trick that I now teach in my Reiki teacher trainings that or Master 3 that you wouldn't have got because you trained before that. So you get a piece of paper and you actually track the actual words that are the thought in your head. So you write down point 1, I'm an idiot because I dropped the plate, right? Point 2, I'm such a messy person. Point 3, something else, right? And then you get a feelings and needs chart out. It doesn't matter, just print it off the internet. Anything that's just got a bunch of feelings on one page and a bunch of needs on another page, right? You just get the feelings one and you read the first sentence back to yourself, glance at the sheet, and whatever word jumps out at you, you write it down. On the feelings one. You do that for the 3 or 5 thoughts that you've written down. And then you get the needs chart and then you read the first sentence and the first feeling that came up and then you glance at the sheet and whatever need initially jumps out at you, you write that down. Right? Because as human beings, we're barometers for feelings. Feelings are, let's call it the currency, if you like, the way to get consciousness and the mind to come together. The path is you have to feel feelings first. You can't jump ahead to solutions if the body hasn't had a moment to feel the feeling. But while you're doing this process, the feeling jumps out and you go, oh yeah, actually, I'm feeling a little bit sad at the moment. Hadn't realized because like what you described in your story, we're not here to actually figure out what's going on in the body. Right? And then when you flip it and it tells you the need is you have a need for safety and you're like, it'll dawn on you like a lightning bolt. You'll be like, oh my God, I'm not safe. And if we use your example, I'm not safe in this relationship with this person saying X, Y, and Z to me all the time. You know? I hadn't even realized. It's amazing, right? And then something happens in your body, this wave of relief happens. Now, the trick to this is that you cannot then ask someone else to change so you can feel better. Right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Which is the automated response. I'm going to need you to act differently because it's just not working for me. You know? The trick here is to ask yourself a question. If I am feeling sad and I'm needing safety, what do I have to do that's going to give that to myself?
Mm-hmm.
Because this is about me up leveling in my reality.
Mm-hmm.
So how do I create that safety? And that might mean you have to have difficult conversations like you did with all of those teachers and the different people that you've had to have hard conversations with, you know, or it might mean you have to just get on a bus and go
Mm-hmm.
and
Or
have
it literally might mean make a cup of tea and sit with your feet in the grass.
go outside and sit with a tree and find out what the tree wants to tell you. Whatever it is, you might need a glass of water. Like, honestly.
Oh, so often it's like, are you anxious or are you thirsty?
You need food? Oh,
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
When's the last time I ate?
He's created like it's because when I was 3, you know? Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever it is, if you slow the whole process down, actually what you notice, it's just like tapping, right?
Mm-hmm.
Does the same job. It slows the fight or flight response down. It gets you to get clear with what's going on in your own body. It gets you an opportunity to feel a feeling that perhaps you've been ignoring, and then to figure out the need that the soul is trying to get you to pay attention to, and that you start realizing that the whole universe is conspiring for you to figure out that need is the most important thing that you have to fulfill next. Don't worry about everyone else. Unless you fulfill that need for yourself, you're messing with the game for everybody else.
It's so true. I was cooking and I'm really insecure about my cooking because Bear's like a phenomenal cook. And he doesn't eat food unless it's like phenomenally cooked because he's a phenomenal cook. Anyway, he was like, just made a suggestion. Just like everything Bear does comes from kindness and love.
Yeah.
But I got really insecure because I was like, I don't like cooking because when I cook, you just like tell me that what I'm doing wrong and it makes me insecure. And he looked at me and he was like, your feelings aren't my problem. And I was like, and the people that we were in the room with were like, oh, like
what
so
do I say here?
So
Only
shocked.
truth did come out of his face.
I looked at him and I was like, thank you. You are so right. Like, thank you. That is so true. And anyone hearing that in like general life would be like, what an asshole. But that's not true. It's just that he is so emotionally mature. Like, this guy, he has no triggers. He literally is like a unicorn. I just don't even know. He's the calmest person. Nothing triggers him. He's endlessly patient. Like, maybe twice a year he will get angry about something, literally. So it's like having that sounding board of like, thank you. He didn't get angry or say it in a snappy way. He just like told me the truth of the situation, which is I did nothing wrong in that situation. I came from love. You took it badly. You need to figure out why you took the love that I was giving badly. And
so tell me, what was the need? If you had to think about it, what was the need in that situation?
To accept myself.
There you go.
You know,
Can you give that to yourself?
That's what I'm constantly trying to do and teach others to do is like, it's not really confidence. Confidence is just the buzzword, but it's just like accepting yourself. Like, what I realized only this year when I was teaching other people about it is that I'm a perfectionist. And it's not because it doesn't show up in my work. I throw my work out there and like hope for the best and never look at it again. But I expect myself to be perfect. And that means that when I can't cook or I can't do something, like the pressure I put on myself is enormous. So then when he says something, I'm assuming he's thinking all the things in his head that I'm thinking in my head, which is not true at all. No. He's not thinking that. I'm thinking that. He's not thinking that. I'm thinking that. And I'm projecting it onto him.
Yeah.
But he's not thinking that. He's just thinking nothing. He's thinking nothing. He's thinking like, oh, I'll just give you a tip. Like it happened the other day with playing Frisbee. He was like, oh, if you just keep it straight. And I was like, I know how to play Frisbee. And then I was just afterwards like, what just happened? I just literally turned into a 4-year-old for a second.
Yeah.
Like I literally was like, he threw it too far. And I was like, if you throw it less far, it like, would have made it to me. And he was just like, and then I threw it in and went into the dam, and he just looked at me and he was like, just gave me that look of like, your tantrum just lost off the frisbee. But he was like laughing so much. He's like, what just happened to you? Like, yeah, but it's just.
But this is the humanness, and this is relationships, and this is probably the next level that people will be, you're obviously helping people get to, and that humans in general are going to need to be considering, is that if we could just hear the words that is coming out of the other person's mouth instead of what we think they're saying, it would be a very different experience for us.
I have this like new mantra that I'm like, if you're going to assume the best. So when we have to understand that we have been programmed, and I don't say that in a negative way, like someone has just been like, I'm going to ruin society. I really don't believe that. It's just that.
I don't believe in Dr. Evil. I just believe in humans making bad choices.
I think it's
string of unhelpful
when
choices.
We're very sensitive, we've had a glitch in our system. And if we don't address that glitch in the system when we have the capacity to, when we didn't when we were children, and to look at that glitch, that every single time, it's like a pinball machine. So the ball gets close and it goes zing and it flings back up again. And unless we can just sit with the glitch in the system, which, my glitch was like, I'm not smart. That was like a glitch in my system. I'm not smart. That's what the teachers told me at school. Mum and dad thought that I was really smart, but then I didn't go to uni. Like, I'm not smart. And then I've been chasing success because I want to prove that I am smart and that I'm successful. So then they'll be proud of me.
Yeah, right.
It's like realizing that is like, oh, but what do I think success is? Well, I think success is loving your life and being together as a family. Like, that's what I think success is. And I have that.
Yeah.
So I can keep striving and living my life for someone else, or I can accept myself, which is what I'm craving from them, and be proud of myself. Like, what you're craving is always from you. Like you said with that sheet, it's never, no one's ever going to be able to fulfill that. Even if everyone does all the things that you want them to do, where you want them to change because you want them to be this person and you want them to do this, like
unattainable.
They
might not want to. If it's not coming from a willingness to make your life more wonderful, it'll come from the should, and the shoulds you pay for later.
And what you've learned, nothing. Like, you're just gonna then be like, okay, well, now I need to control everyone around me. Like, it's
a stage and a phase, though, that people do go through when they're on this awakening journey, is they go into that, I call it the frenzy zone, where they've found the thing that works for them, and then they want to preach that to everyone. And
they
want to tell you born again vegans. And they want to tell you all the things that you need to be doing, and you're evil because you're doing it this way. It's just a stage and a phase. That's all it is. And then
it's a funny stage. Yes,
we've all been in it.
We have.
Or we're currently moving through it, whatever it is. But there's nothing wrong with any of us. We got to give ourselves a break.
And being human is fun if you let it be. Like,
it can be, yeah.
We can't. I believe, like, truly believe, we chose to be human. We chose to be human because it's really fun to be human, because we have so much power that we've somehow forgotten, and we actually get control out. Like, we came here to experience joy, like, and emotions. We came here to feel. I don't think you feel in the soul realm. You're just love. And, we came here to experience feelings, but every single thing that makes us human is the thing that we push away from ourselves. So we're all having this horrible time, but we don't need to be, because we came here to be human. And, like, there's no reason you can't enjoy being sad.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? If you, like,
yeah.
Oh no.
He's your alarm clock saying, Mum, it's time.
He's like, excuse me.
It's good.
yeah, I could talk to you for 100 years. So
I know, but I'm aware of your time, and it is precious with your little one. So I feel like we might need to wrap it here.
I love that thing you just taught me. I like want to do it immediately. I'm like, come on, something come up.
What you wish for.
But yeah, I was joking. Humor. Yeah, humor. That's another thing I think on the journey.
It's such a good one for the kids too, right? Like it's one that I will talk to parents about when they're trying to work out strategies working with their kids, because they can't manage seeing their kids upset. So they need a tool, right? So
Mhm.
ask the child, how are they feeling?
Mhm.
And guess, it looks like you're angry.
Mhm. Mhm.
And what do you need? Right now, what do you need? And you might start guessing. Do you need a cuddle? Do you need
Mhm.
me to stay away? Do you need me to tell you something? Like, what do you need? And wait, just wait, listen, right?
Mhm.
It's amazing what comes out of the kids' faces. They
Kids
are
are
so
so
tapped into what they need, what the feelings are and what they need. And
they
it
are insane.
surprises the parents instantly, you know?
That I'm like my parenting method is like you are the teacher, I am the student. I understand more safety things than you. Like I have experience to know that if you go into the water, like but otherwise, but there's also a balance of that. It's not passing on my fear. It's but it's just like I'm just like I don't know. I don't really tell him anything because I'm like so fascinated. I'm like, but you have it figured out. I don't. I think you came here to teach me, and I'm here to like be your trip sitter essentially. Like,
Little things like if you touch that, it's hot, right? And they're already going to touch it. Well, you might use a bit of excessive force, as in you might grab them and take them away from the heat to prevent them from having a 50-degree burn.
Mhm.
Those sorts of
Yeah,
things.
you don't
There are
leave the
certain
kettle on
things
the
that you need to create a boundary around. Do you know
bed.
what I mean? And
Mhm.
I know for me, I got to a point when I was breastfeeding that I needed my body back.
I'm still breastfeeding.
Well, that's good if it's good for you, if it's still
Mhm.
something that you are wanting to do, but I literally couldn't do it anymore.
Mhm.
And so I had to create a boundary, but I did that in by talking to them like a human and telling them about it. And eventually they just were like, yeah, cool. And
Mhm.
they
Well,
were they were like 1.5. Do you know what I
yes.
mean? And
Yeah.
they actually the kids knew what I was talking about. They were happy. I was happy. But I knew when my boundary, I had to then show them what that was. So
Mhm.
because I had to honor myself, I couldn't do a should anymore.
And that's like with so many things. It's like I know you want me to do that, babe, but I'm also important too. And when my body tells me not to do something, I have to listen to that. And like that's teaching them so much.
Oh,
Otherwise you're teaching them not to have boundaries because kids aren't listening to what you're telling them.
no, they're watching what you're doing.
Yeah. And it's so weird because you watch them and you're like, you're watching, it's so trippy. It's
I know.
honest. It's such
Maybe
a
we get you to come back and we have a chat about the alternate ways of parenting. I don't even like calling it alternate, but there's certain things that I know that you've done and I know I've done that is a
Mhm.
bit different to how other people do things. So it could be interesting to have a little chitty chat about that another time.
It would be fun. I could talk about it
I
forever.
feel like it could be a whole other podcast. So
Yeah.
let's think about doing that.
Yes, I love talking to you. Thanks, Nat.
I do too. I appreciate this so much, and it was just a good excuse to catch up with you and find out what are you doing? Well, I
Let
want
me
to
know.
thank you for coming on to the podcast with me.
Thanks
I'm
so much for
going
having
to
me.
I'm going to make it an official completion here, and hopefully we'll see you another time.
I love you. Mwah.
If you enjoy this podcast, remember to like and subscribe and share it with someone that you think would benefit from this. Follow us on Spotify and all the podcasting apps that you may listen to your favorite podcasts through. The more we share these podcasts, The further the messages of the stories of awakening are spread, it's happening all over the world now. People are awakening, and it's an exciting time to be alive. The content found within these podcasts are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent disease. Nothing on this website is intended to diagnose, treat, or cure any physical or medical conditions. If you have any physical or medical conditions, you should seek the advice of your medical professional immediately. These podcasts have a meditative effect, so please never drive a vehicle while listening to Guided Meditation Podcast.